All right, here we go. Next installment of Monday Meals with Mr. Blaze. We got something very simple this week. It has 3 ingredients, and all you need is a frying pan. And this is something literally anybody can do. The granola, yeah, it was a little more involved, had some ingredients. This one is really easy. We've done this with our cooking school kids, and it works out really well. So all we're going to make, we're making something called a pizzadilla. You probably had something called a quesadilla. This is a little spin on that. We just switch up some of the ingredients and make it more of a pizzadilla. So what we're going to use is some flour tortillas. If you have a aversion to gluten, you can certainly use corn, but flour tortillas work for us. We're going to use some shredded cheese. We use cheddar jack because it's what we put in tacos, but you could use shredded mozzarella or provolone or Italian blend, whatever you have. You need some pizza sauce, which I have homemade pizza sauce here. It's just tomato sauce and basil and a little bit of oregano, garlic powder, and onion powder, and salt and pepper. But you can buy it in a can. It's like 59 cents. And then I have some pepperoni here, sliced sandwich pepperoni. Might put some of that in. So I'm going to get it set up. But first, a quick little tip. When you're working on a cutting board and it's sliding around like this on your counter, get a piece of paper towel. Get it wet. I know this is something that you're talking about this week in the science work about friction. Well, if you put a wet piece of paper towel under your cutting board, it causes a lot of friction. The board doesn't slide. So, easy to assemble. We're going to take a flour tortilla, put it down flat. Camera, if you want to come in a little bit closer, you can. That's Mrs. Blaze on the filming. And our sous chef, Josephine, sounds like she's making some noise. So I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to put some pizza sauce on only half of the tortilla, and I'll explain why I'm doing that. So we're going to take some pizza sauce, and put it on half of the tortilla. The main reason for this is going to work like glue and help us hold the cheese in, but it won't get too soggy then when I'm toasting it up. And a side note, I have a pan over there on the stove. You can do this on a griddle if you're cooking for your whole family, but I'm going to do one in a pan. I have it on medium heat. Then we take some cheese, and we're going to put some cheese on the opposite side of the sauce. All right, I'm gonna put some cheese in. The recipe calls for about a 1/4 cup of cheese. With this size tortilla, these are a little bit smaller. I'm using maybe 2 tablespoons. If you like it extra cheesy, put a lot in. If you don't like it so cheesy, put a little bit in. So cheese on one half, sauce on the other half. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold the sauce half over so that it covers up the cheese. If you try to fold the cheese half over, all the cheese folds toward the inside. So we're going to fold this over, press it down a little bit, and then when you go to put it in a pan, I'm gonna hit it with some non-stick cooking spray. You could use butter, you could use olive oil. That's just gonna help it get brown in the pan. And then one more trick when you go to pick this up. Do not pick it up this way because all the cheese falls out, so you pick it up like a little taco if you want. Bring it over to the pan, and then set it in the pan and let it fall away from you. So just let it fall like that. It's gonna take about 2 to 3 minutes. You can probably hear it sizzling there. A nice hot pan will do that. It's going to get GBD, that's golden brown and delicious, and then I'll show you how to flip it in a second once it's done. Okay, it's been cooking for about 2 minutes, and what you might notice here is the top layer here, the outside is curling up, right? That's how you know when it's ready to flip. What's happening is the cheese in there is starting to melt. It's pulling this part down, and it's making that outside flip up. So here's how you flip it, very simple. You're not going to go in under this like a pancake and try to flip it. It's just too slippery. So I'm going to come in from the rounded side. You can put a finger here. This side's not hot. It's warm, but it's not hot. Literally just bring it over and flip it. All right, look at that. GBD. Golden, brown, delicious. You want to eat that. You don't want to eat this, so you want to make sure this thing looks good. If you're wondering why there's a second one there, Mrs. Blaze and Kylie smelled it cooking. They both demanded one, so now I have to make an extra one for my helpers here. So we let that other side cook just for a little bit. You can see the cheese is definitely melted. I'm going to let this side cook for maybe 45, 50 seconds because it doesn't have to be super crisp on the other side. And you can see that this edge now is starting to bend down. Again, it's because the cheese is sucking the center of it together, so those pieces are going to start to melt. So I'll show you how I'm going to plate this up, and it's done. I mean, as I said, this is a very, very easy meal that you could easily handle cooking. So I'm going to get it out of here. Again, being careful not to have it slide off the spatula. Bring it back to my cutting board, and I'll show you how I'm going to plate this up to make it look cool. So we're going to slice this into triangular wedges, and then we're going to make it look cool. We put, you can see that gooey cheese, right? We're going to make the points facing out, a little extra pizza sauce in the center, And then we would put some grated cheese over the top of all of it. You have a new meal, a pizzadilla. You know, people say you eat with your eyes before you eat with your mouth, so you got to make it look good if you want it to taste good. I'd love to see how this turns out for you guys, see if you're going to try it, and let me know as we catch up this week in the future. Hope it works out for you. See you soon.